All right, everybody, good evening. We just finished watching the Combine a little bit ago. I did do the watch along stream. Seemed like people had some fun with it. Seemed like we did pretty well in terms of imparting some value to the people who get into this stuff. We had fun, I had fun. So I do plan on doing it again probably Sunday for the offensive linemen. So thank you to everybody who came out to that stream. Thank you to everybody who participated in chat, anybody who donated, anybody who liked, anybody who watched, whatever. Thank you. So now that we've watched all the on-field stuff, and by the way, the coverage of the Combine on the NFL Network is kind of interesting. They show you the 40 times after all the athletes have done their jumps, and then they show a bunch of on-field drills that aren't really measured. They're just showing how the guys move, how the guys would approach a certain pattern of movement, how they're able to swing their hips, how they're able to track the ball midair, stuff like that. So understand that some of the stuff that happened that was interesting today is not in these numbers. There's plenty of stuff that happens out there that you just have to watch and see what's up, like blocking, like tight end blocking drills. There are a lot of those, but they don't have numbers attached to them. So, cornerback, real quick here. I didn't spend a lot of time on cornerback, but we did spend like the first 2 hours of the stream watching cornerback drills because that's who was going at the time. So it was just one of those things where we know we probably don't have a big need at cornerback, so how interested are we going to be able to be? But from what we saw, because of course I was watching it, Quinyon Mitchell I thought looked awesome. And if there's a scenario where the Seahawks feel like they need a cornerback badly enough to draft one in the first round again, I would not be upset about it being Quinyon Mitchell. He is really good. He is going to be a great pro, I think. And I'm optimistic about his future to where I would be okay taking him in the first round in a vacuum. I don't think I would do it in this circumstance, but let's say the Woolen trade does happen. And I don't want that to happen, of course, because we're not going to get, it's not like it's going to be plus value for us. We're not going to get a massive trade haul for him right now. But if that did happen and we ended up with Quinyon Mitchell, you'd I think that would be good. The other cornerback that stood out to me was Max Melton. I thought he tested very well. He's Bo Melton's brother, and he's a cornerback who is coming out of Rutgers this year. I like him. He might actually be a guy we go get anyway because he'll be a late round option. So those would be two guys that stood out to me, but I only paid so much attention to the cornerback stuff, admittedly. So now let's swing over to the cornerbacks. Let's talk a little bit. I'm sorry, the safeties, not the cornerbacks. Let's talk about these safeties. So I have some notes here. Let me go ahead and pull them over. The first guy that I want to talk about at the safety position was a guy that I haven't really spoken about before because I wasn't aware of his work that well. Jalen Simpson of Auburn tested extremely well. Very athletic, ran a 4.45 40, which was third among all safeties. 1.51 10-yard split was number one at the position, tied with a couple others. Had a 39.5-inch vert, which was third, and his 11-foot 1-inch broad was second among safeties. Now, he is on the smaller side, so he needed to be athletic. He is 179 pounds, so he's light. 32 and 3/8-inch arms are just meh. But this guy tested very well, and I think there's going to be a lot of interest here because obviously the Seahawks need safeties. This is going to be one of the guys who's one of the big winners coming out of this combine. I think he was considered to be the most athletic or second most athletic overall tight end that tested today. By the way, there are a few tight ends who didn't test, like Bowers didn't test, Sanders only partially tested, but there are also safeties who didn't fully test. Like I don't think Nubbin did most of the testing. He did some of the on-field stuff, but he didn't do any of the measurable stuff. So there are going to be plenty of guys at both positions who didn't test. But of the guys who tested, Jalen Simpson came out extremely well, and I think his stock has to go up now. Next guy who tested extremely well and showed superhuman ability was Tyler Owens. And this guy didn't do the 40-yard dash, so we don't know about that. But he did the stuff that he needed to do to impress people. This is not a small safety, by the way. 6'2", 216 pounds, 33 and 3/8-inch arms. So he's got good size, and he jumped 41 inches vertically, which was number one, 12 feet 2 inches on his broad, which was number 1 at the position. The dude's a freak. The dude to be that big, to be that size, and still be able to jump like that, that's freaky stuff. Now, obviously, this guy has some limitations as a player. You can see it right here. They even mention in this on this page, he was not very productive at Texas Tech. But this is an athlete that somebody's going to want to sink their teeth into and try to get something out of. What an absolute monstrous performance to get on the map for Tyler Owens. And of the guys who tested, again, a few guys sat out. The top guys often sit out, by the way, because they already know everybody loves them and everybody thinks the world of them. So they don't need to be tested. But of the guys who tested, nobody looks more like a freak than Tyler Owens right now. So I'd like to have seen him run the 40. It probably wouldn't have been great because he is a bigger guy. But if he had run a good 40, that would have been the full package. And man, this guy would be a lot of fun to have on your team. All right, now we get into the more mixed range, and I had to talk about this guy because I've been kind of circling the wagons around him lately, James Williams of Miami. And look, it's not all bad because this guy is big. He measured out at 6'4", 231 pounds. That's Cam Chancellor territory. So he has an excuse. And I'm not killing him for this. I mean, we even got 33 and 5/8 inch arms. That's nice too. So James Williams is big enough to where this is somewhat acceptable. But oof. 4.65 40, 1.59 10-yard split. So he's not fast. He's not quick. These were some of the lesser times at the position. 30-inch vertical was, I believe, at the very bottom, as was the 9'9" broad jump. So he didn't test well. And I think the speed is okay, given that he's a bigger safety. But we have to remember, in this defense, Mike McDonald's defense, the safety is ubiquitous. Theoretically, both safeties are supposed to be able to do the same thing. So for James Williams to fit in on this defense, he's going to have to be able to be versatile. This does not look like a versatile safety to me. This looks like a box safety, a pure box safety, who maybe even ends up playing linebacker in the NFL. So can't really get too much excited about that. But nothing compares to the disastrous combine of Cameron Kinchens. And I got to talk about this one because this guy was considered a borderline first-round pick at some points this season. And I know some Seahawks fans are interested in him, but I thought this was a complete disaster from Cameron Kinchens. I don't know if he's injured, but he needs to do much better at his pro day. Unlike his teammate, James Williams, Cameron Kinchens is not big. He's 5'11", 203 pounds. Arms are 31 1/4 inches. Nothing remarkable there. Normal size. So his testing results are far more problematic. 4.65 40. He's slow. 1.59 10-yard split. Slow to accelerate. Vertical jump 35 inches. One of the lowest results for any safety. 9'2" broad jump. One of the worst results for any safety. Not explosive. So at this point, I think these testing numbers have to make you look at Cameron Kinchens and go, how is this going to work in the NFL? How is he going to be able to be a ball hawk in the NFL when he's facing quarterbacks with zip on the ball? Because the quarterbacks you play in college, they can't put zip on the ball the way NFL quarterbacks can. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, I think this guy may have just fallen out of day 2. We'll see. I mean, there's some good stuff on the tape. But this tells me in the NFL it's not going to work so well. So a little bit down on Kinchens right now. Next guy that I want to go over from the Combine today was Cole Bishop, Utah safety. Somebody that I discussed a good amount during the season. And there were some really good things with Cole Bishop. I like a lot of what he did. Enthusiastic about this guy. There's one problem, which we'll get to in a second here. But 4.45 40. 1.52 10-yard split. He's fast. He's quick. Accelerates nicely. Nice jumps. 39-inch vert, 10'4" broad. So explosive athlete. A lot of power in his hips. A lot of power in his legs. 6'2", 206 pounds. More than good enough. So everything's in order, right? Everything's great about Cole Bishop. Sub 30-inch arms. That is some T-Rex stuff right there. And we have a problem. We have a problem with sub 30-inch arms. Luckily, he's a safety, so it's not the end of the world, but that is tough, man. So, I like Cole Bishop. I think he improved his stock overall today, but that arm length thing is going to be tough to overcome. I'm sorry, but it just is. So, I would say that I'm still definitely looking to him in the draft as a potential option to get younger at safety, but I am very aware of the fact that that arm length is maybe a little bit too much to overcome. Final guy I want to talk about would be Evan Williams, the Oregon safety. This is an interesting mix of a couple different traits here. So first of all, he's relatively slow, 4'6", 155, which isn't terrible for some of these guys, but Evan Williams is on the smaller side. He's 5'11" and 200 pounds. He should be a little bit faster and quicker than that. 4'6", 155, not going to cut it. However, he was very explosive. 40.5 vert, 10 foot 6 inch broad. So the guy has explosiveness in his body all day. Now, that probably kind of cancels out the slowness and the size factor. By the way, his arms are really short too. 30 and 1/8 inch arms. So that's also an issue. But at least he has some positive traits. The explosiveness is going to help overcome some of the issues that he has. So I would say that Evan Brown didn't really hurt his stock that much, but I don't think he helped it by testing. And that's what I had for the safeties. Those were the things that stood out to me. Let me know what you guys saw. Let me know what you guys think. I will be seeing you guys later. We're going to talk about tight ends, but those were the safeties to me. Let me know. See you guys soon. See you guys on stream maybe later tonight. I'm going to be doing more Rebirth. So, yeah, go Hawks, and see you guys soon.